Hi guys, and welcome to my channel again. Today I'm going to show you how to make a really delicious seitan steak made from mushrooms and vital gluten. And there is a bonus, there is no kneading today, so a winner. The steak is super easy, few minutes to prepare and a long time cooking, but we don't have to worry about that. And the amazing thing about the steak is that once you cook it, cool it down, put it in a marinade, it can actually stay in the fridge for up to 2 weeks. And you can use it like a shredded mince, you can use it on your barbecue.
Roughly chop those mushrooms, add them to the blender so it can do the rest for us. Now we need some garlic, as little or as much as you love, soy sauce, and we will have some options here, either way to use the plum extract, grape juice, beetroot juice, or even red wine, so you can really experiment with your flavors here. Add some water to make our famous slurry.
All in a blender. Today you don't need any special blender, as long as it can just make those mushrooms into a slurry, that's all good. And then into a bowl, spatula, vital gluten wheat, no kneading today, just a nice gentle stir, and that's it. Magic happens later. So look at this, it's really nice and creamy and you can't actually see any bits of mushroom. So as always with seitan, we need a slurry basically. So now it all goes into a bowl. And now the texture. So usually we are looking to form quite nice ball that will hold the shape together. With this seitan recipe, however, you are looking for a quite soft texture. So it almost may seem like that is too soft, you know, it almost may seem too wet. If that is the case, of course, always add more gluten, but start with the less gluten. So we're aiming for maximum of 2.5 cups for this amount, but don't worry about the measurements at the moment. Everything is in captions, and as always I offer you some swaps as well.
Start adding your vital gluten in stages, as always, and now quick stir, no kneading. The reason we want it nice and wet and moist is because we want our steaks to be like that. So in opposed to other seitan dishes, when we are reaching for this chewiness, we actually want tenderness.
Right, so you can't feel it, but I can tell you it feels quite wet. However, it does hold the shape, okay? So this is quite important. So I'm actually gonna leave it like that because I like it this way. So it's quite nice and soft. It's gonna be quite spongy. It will puff up much more. So have a look. So usually when I'm stretching the seitan, it creates like a big muscle shape. Do you remember my pastrami video? And there's like really big beetroot muscle. Well, that won't happen here because it's so much more moist, okay? But we want this. So I'm gonna keep my seitan this way today. If you're a bit worried, if you think it's not gonna work, just drop more of a seitan, of a gluten, incorporate it in, and then you're just gonna have a safer consistency for yourself. Just experiment, because seitan is all about exploration, really.
Now all you have to do is shape your steaks. It's super easy because the seitan is much softer than your usual one, so it's really easy to work with. Simply make a bowl, flatten it between your hands, and always making sure that you leave enough space between them, as they will puff up.
Okay, so again, as always, 2 stages. First, we're gonna bake it. Okay, so that goes into the oven onto the tray for around half an hour. It will puff up. And then later, once it's puffed up, we will actually boil it. Let me tell you about one of my favorite ingredients that I just recently fell in love with, and it's a plum extract, okay? I found it, of course, in one of my favorite Korean shops, and I'm in absolute love. I use it in marinades, in dressings. I keep experimenting with it, and that's how I came up with this recipe for marinade for our beautiful steaks. It's tangy, it's sweet, it's just delicious. It's just like concentrated plum with acidity. It's just absolutely insane. So you're going to add the plum extract here, which is really so good. And then whiskey. If you don't like whiskey, or if you cannot use alcohol in your cooking, or if you don't want to use alcohol in cooking, that's not a problem. You can always add some stock, additional water. It's not a lot, it's only like a little splash, probably a quarter of a cup here. And then of course soy sauce, half a cup, and miso paste as always, just for the richness and more umami. I'm using here quite dark Korean fermented soybean, but you can use any miso that you've got lying around. It really doesn't matter so much. And then once our steaks are boiled and cooled down, we will dump them into this marinade and leave them in the fridge. Forget about them. Wake up next morning and have the most amazing vegan seitan steaks or shredded meat or mince or whatever you want, because they are so versatile. You'll love them.
Next stage, poaching in vegetable stock. Make sure that your pan is big enough, because again they will puff up more. Also make sure that your stock is really nice and flavorsome. It's a good cube stock, is absolutely fine, but make sure it does hold a lot of flavor, because our steaks will rest there for a long time, so we want them to really soak up all those beautiful flavors there.
Second stage, so now we're poaching very gently our steaks, making sure they're on a very low heat. If they're overboiling, they can just expand too much, and inside they'll have a huge air bubble, air pocket, which we don't really want. Now, once you're gonna switch off the gas, after around 45-60 minutes, leave them in the poaching liquid until completely cooled down. Get back to your marinade. Squeeze the excess of the liquid, of the poaching liquid from your steaks, and just submerge them in here and make sure that they sit there nice and happy in your fridge in a Tupperware, and then just use them whenever you're ready. That's it. Like, comment and subscribe. I will love you forever.